Alright, so this is an interesting video. I got an update for my Max Nano here. On one hand, it's doing great. The corals are all doing wonderful. But I had an issue with bubble algae only. It's the only pest I have in this tank. I just couldn't seem to get it under control with manual removal. I went ahead and rehomed. Well, actually, I went ahead. Fortunately, I have a great shop down the street that took the majority of my fish. Because, the answer at first was to decrease the nutrient load, and that helped, but, I still have this bubble algae, so I'm not going to do a real clear picture. I didn't, I'm due to clean the walls here, but this is just to show, right now, I have bubble algae on my rocks, some areas worse than others, and so I'm going to go ahead and give Vibrant a try, and see if Vibrant can't get rid of this bubble algae for me, but otherwise my corals are doing incredible. Quite literally. And yeah, if this Vibrant works, then it'll be wonderful to let others know that it's a great tool in getting rid of even bubble algae. Let's see what happens. All right. So this is the topic of, does Vibrant work for bubble algae? I had quite an absolute mess on my hands. Originally, I had just a small patch that I removed here and there. Unfortunately, I had a major outbreak of bubble algae, and it completely took over my aquarium. I had read in some forums that the Vibrant does work, so I went ahead and used it. And it absolutely 100% eradicated all bubble algae. Quite impressed with these results, actually. Corals loved it, and actually there was a couple micro SPSs that really loved it that I thought were going to die, but actually came back and started growing and had some really good color to them. I apologize, I don't have a color filter for my videos, so you don't get to see the colors in my corals that you would see under the blue lights. But if I use the blue lights, then you wouldn't be able to really see the video. One of these days I'll invest in something like that. I'm going to show you the rock work, which has no signs of any bubble algae. I can't even find a single bubble. So completely eradicated it. What you are going to see is a couple strands of dino, which makes sense, because the Vibrant worked so good that there was no longer hardly any nutrients or waste inside the water, and therefore, I have an imbalance in my nutrients, which is easy to fix. But I do things slowly because I don't want the balance, the scale to tip the opposite direction again. So just a few strands of dino, nothing out of control. And what I'll do is I'll slowly raise the nutrient levels and just get that perfect balance again, minus the bubble algae. A couple things to consider is, one, I decided to do this. I waited until it was winter and there was much less light coming through the windows, and that helped to eradicate the bubble algae as well. I was kind of hitting it two ways. And then after the bubble algae was completely gone, on my next water change, I used a turkey baster to blast all the dead particles and debris off the rocks, and there was tons, because there was a lot of bubble algae. So it's important to get rid of that for the future, because in the future it can cause some real issues. And so, yeah, this tank is doing real well. I had to make some big changes. In the middle of that huge bubble algae outburst, conditions just weren't great, so I went and rehomed the fish that I could catch. Of course, I couldn't catch my little wrasse, but you know what? He's perfect for the tank, and he loved, he didn't mind it at all. He's fine. But my gold nugget clown, which I will replace at some point, and my blenny, he doesn't eat bubble algae, and so my flame hawk actually passed before I had the bubble algae issue. But other than that, I rehomed the other two. I have a really good local fish store that is really good about just taking my fish and giving me credit. And so One thing that's interesting is once I started using the Vibrant, not only did some of the harder to keep SPS start proliferating and growing quick, but also they're shrunk down a little bit now. I just did a water change, but my bubble tip anemones actually went from long tentacle to bubble tip again. So I'm not sure if it is a light thing with bubble tip anemones. Apparently nutrients, make a difference too. It's interesting. This hammer, man, is that insane. This hammer coral here was this little tiny, I kid you not, 3 little miniature polyp. I almost got it for free because the store had it and it was just looked like it wasn't going to make it. And this thing just exploded. It's huge. I can't believe how big it is. Just insane how it can proliferate like that. The candy cane got out of control. There's just not enough room. I bought too many larger corals. That was my mistake. The candy cane had to go because obviously with this giant torch that started as 3 heads is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 giant heads that are also splitting. So, I mean, this thing's heading towards... Oh, wait, there's more heads in the back. I mean, this thing's going to have like 8 heads. And so I'm going to have to frag that and sell a few to the fish store. Because that torch, that's a dragon's breath under the blue light. Looks incredible. My Hercules torch. Let me see. We got 2 heads, but man, I got star polyps crawling up that thing that I have to scrape off pretty consistently. It's the only thing about star polyps, man. They add some nice color, but they really take over. It's kind of hard to stop them sometimes. I just kind of use a toothbrush and just rake them off. But they're doing really good on the back there. I like that. Other than that, the corals are just doing great, man. Just got these great corals. And so, yeah, this green, like chalice-like coral is just spreading all over really fast, going up the rocks. So yeah, I'm going to do mostly ground cover corals now. SPS. It's just smaller tanks. I just don't have any more room for anything that really branches out. But I'm really liking what it's going to look like once I cover some of these empty spots with ground cover of some sort. But yeah, that Vibrant, really good stuff. It definitely just knocked the nutrients down. It's absolutely worked very fast. Within 3 months the tank was changing. Within actually I should have said within a month, and then within 3 months the bubble algae was gone completely. And I don't think at the time that I decided to start using the Vibrant, I don't think there was a crack or crevice or corner in this tank that didn't have bubble algae coming out of it. So I was really impressed with the products, and it really made the corals happy, especially the more difficult SPS. Just started popping out. I don't know if you can see right there, but there's some watermelon colored stuff. Right, well, can't quite get my finger in there, but right there. Under the blue light just really looks cool. A real just bright neon watermelon looking color. So tank's doing great. Everything's happy. And yeah, really happy with Vibrant. Any questions, you always feel free to ask. Other than that, I didn't do anything special, In this tank I was using 3 mLs once a week. Seems like nothing, right? It's just bacteria you're putting in there and they proliferate. So great stuff. Really happy with my tank on some of the changes. 1 year from now, this is going to be a whole new tank when I get some of the new SPS in here to just cover some of these empty spots and just fill it with different colors. But, I'm at the point in this tank is starting to mature and getting some coralline algae, some really good stuff in those corners and around. And yeah, this tank's really starting to become a mature tank, and that's what you wait a long time for. Max Nano.